You know, when we reviewed the BYD Sea Lion 6, we called it a game changer because the value it presented really put other manufacturers on notice. It's a compact crossover, a hybrid electric vehicle, and it's got a tested range of over 1,600 kilometers. And we thought that, well, another blue moon would come by before we saw another similar product out in the market. Ooh, sweet sour pork, were we wrong? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the BYD Seal 5 DMI, a plug-in hybrid electric sedan with a tested range, of over 1,600 kilometers, and a price you will not believe. Now, to put it in context, allow me to share with you other prices of hybrid vehicles, hybrid sedan vehicles, locally available in the Philippines, of course, with the help of the AutoDeal app. Now, the Toyota Corolla Altis Hybrid, for example, the GRS, comes in at 1,755,000 Philippine pesos. The Honda Civic RS Hybrid comes in at 1,990,000 Philippine pesos. And then you've got the Mazda 3 HEV, that comes in at 1,790,000 Philippine pesos. Now, none of those cars that I just mentioned are plug-ins. The Seal can run much longer on electric power than those cars. And as the name suggests, you can plug it in to charge. But we'll get to those details a little bit later. So, care to venture a guess? 1.8? Well, that's pretty decent. 1.5? Even better. Well, folks, this is the premium model, the top of the line, and this comes in at just 1,198,000 Philippine pesos. Even better is this Segway, which is sponsored by the AutoDeal app. Tired of planning your week around number coding? Are your fuel costs piling up? Are hybrids too expensive? Well, worry no more because we have exactly what it is that you're looking for. Presenting the Seal 5 DMI Dynamic. A plug-in hybrid equipped with DMI technology to get you where you want to go with over 1,000 kilometers of range on a single tank of fuel. Drive around in luxury with the full leather interior, a massive touchscreen infotainment system all day, every day. So what are you waiting for? Drive away your troubles for one easy payment of just 948,000 Philippine pesos. That's right, folks. Drive your way to your dream for under 1 million Philippine pesos. Get in there, Jack. And ladies and gentlemen, here's how to order.
Download the AutoDeal app today and get the best car at the best price. Download the app now and you'll get the best car buying app absolutely free. That's AutoDeal on either Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Remember, that's AutoDeal. Download and buy now.
So when we were trying to figure out just exactly how to compare it in price and size, we were having a bit of a problem because it's definitely taller, longer, and wider than that of your average compact sedan, which is like the Civic or the Altis, right? So you're definitely in compact sedan territory. But because of its price point, it sits closer to that of a Vios or a City. But because of its size, you're definitely looking at a compact sedan. Apples, oranges, ambot sa imo. As for looks, I really like what BYD did here. Very sleek and modern without resorting to over-styling. So despite its very eye-catching grille, the rest of the car remains smooth and sleek. And the boxy dimensions of the rear add a bit of macho in the mix as well. The wheels are 17s, but they're not exactly the prettiest things out there. Maybe swap them out for a set of NKs or BBSS. Or keep it simple, go local, Rota. Somebody call Mick. Mick! Another thing that could throw off some people that I found, and I couldn't really pinpoint it till I found out that it had a generous amount of 160 millimeters of ground clearance, was that it stands a bit high for, well, I guess for the younger generation. Although me being a bit more quote-unquote mature, yeah, right, I guess I would take the ground clearance for peace of mind as opposed to the pogi factor of a lower slung sedan. Plus, the height also adds to the fact that it makes the car look bigger than it already is. And you don't necessarily have to go over a hump and say, uy, slowered ako pare, slowered. Open the boot, and if I can find the button, there it is. You are looking at 450 liters of space. Now, obviously, it's not gonna be big enough to fit a balikbayan box because it's a sedan. And the sides are kind of compromised because they're raised. But it actually is very, very deep. So we put a water bottle in there just to show you how big it is and your standard overnight luggage. You could fit a standard size luggage in there, the huge maletas that we have, and it will slide deeply in because it is quite deep. And then for longer items, you can fold the 60/40 to help you out. Oh, and it also comes with a home charger and a V2L adapter. How do you like them apples? Comfortable are the rear seats. It's quite long, the seat itself, so it gives you good thigh support also because it's a little bit elevated. I like that. Two passengers in here, obviously not going to be an issue. If you have a third passenger, also not a problem because there is no center tunnel, or if that's a tunnel, it's like that high only. So third passenger, not really a problem. The seats are forgiving. They're not firm. They are quite forgiving. The leather is of okay quality. It's not the best in the world, but I will take it. There's also not much bolstering on the seats, so ingress and egress out of the automobile shouldn't be a problem. The toys, you have two air vents found up front. Underneath, you have two Type A USB charging points. You have pockets behind the seats, ball holders on either side, and of course, a center armrest with two cup holders. Oh, and I haven't said this in a while. Isofix tethers. Yes, yes, of course. I have spent some time here at the rear. Jack was driving, Earl was up front. We were on our way to someplace in Cavite. So I was at least a passenger for a minimum of like 3 hours back and forth. And the one thing that I noticed was that I did not feel as if that I got the short end of the stick because I had to sit in the back. No, I was comfortable. I wasn't dizzy at all. And I felt like it's a very good shared space. So whatever space that they had up front, I felt like I was getting almost the same thing. Driver's seat, easy to get into your proper driving position. The seats are powered, which I like, and the steering wheel is telescopic. You have two large screens. The first one is your instrument cluster, which is an 8-inch screen, large, full color. I like that. You have a large 12.8-inch touchscreen infotainment system that rotates. I might add that. It's a weird flex, but hey, it's there. It has wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, as well as functions for everything else inside the car and a 360 camera. You don't have immediate buttons to control your air. You can turn it on immediately from the panel down here, but to control it, still a little bit of a thing that you have to go through several layers, but you can control it because it's a BYD with 3 fingers, or on the steering wheel, or with the voice control. You have air vents found down here, wireless charging point, followed by cup holders, your gear selector, your rotary gear selector, and other drive functions, as I mentioned here. A large enough box that holds receipts that, oh, Jack, I need to reimburse you for this stuff. Lots of textures inside the vehicle, which is welcome. It's a heck of a lot better than piano black, which, by the way, there is zero piano black inside this car, which I love. Even the buttons on the steering wheel, which control your audio and your cruise control, they're all matte. Zero piano black in this car. I love it. Oh, also to add, the cruise control inside this vehicle, there is one, but it isn't adaptive cruise, which I don't mind. And Jack also does understand that asking for adaptive cruise control in a car at this price point is like going to a buffet and asking for takeout. It's a bit much. What we would have liked to have seen, though, is Type C charging points, because there are only Type A charging points inside this car. So it's not exactly future-proofing itself. So that's not so great. What is good, though, is the drive of this vehicle, which is what we're going to get to right now. But before we do, please subscribe to our channel, because we have to create these videos so that we make as much money as possible to pay for Earl's hysterectomy. Huh? You didn't know? No. You do now. The CO5 DMI produces 194 horses and 325 Newton meters of torque, coming from its electric motor that is also powered by a 1.5-liter gasoline engine, which essentially is just a generator. Now, on full EV mode, this car can achieve 115 kilometers. And the battery, which by the way you can charge via Type 2, you can charge it from 0 to 100% in as little as 3 hours to at most 3.5 hours. As previously mentioned, it has been tested that the Seal 5 DMI can do over 1,600 kilometers on one full charge and a full tank of gas. Now, that may sound astronomical, but honestly, we believe them because just on our trip today, from Metro Manila to our shooting spot in Talisay and back into the city, we're been able to clock in 34 kilometers per liter.
And the thing is, we didn't even start at the full charge.
We didn't! To learn more about Super DMI technology, check out our upcoming video on this BYD Seal, which should be out on our YouTube channel very soon, which you're not going to know about unless you subscribe. Now to continue, steering feel and brake feel. You don't necessarily couple those two, but I am because, well, the steering is a little bit on the dull side, and as too is the braking. It feels like you have to put in more input so that it understands what it is that you want from the car. So a little bit more steering input to do what it is that you want to do your bidding. And the same way with the brake feel. It just, see, the brakes are sort of like, it's a brake-by-wire kind of a system. So it's more of like a suggestion, but it's not really the brake input itself. I know that sounds kind of weird, but hey, download the AutoDeal app, take this out for a test drive, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Man, if I had a dime for every time I mentioned the AutoDeal app in this video. The suspension in this car, believe it or not, is, well, very plush, very sedan, very large sedan actually, if I'm being completely honest. And because I've driven this car for quite some time, and I'm a crossover fan, this car makes me really miss sedans. Because it drives the way, or rather it rides the way it's supposed to. You're leaning back, you're stretched out, and it's smooth. I like it. I really, really do. For an everyday vehicle, I really think that this sedan is, well, it's a perfect fit. It's quiet, it's compact. In the city, it's going to be super fuel efficient, and it's comfortable. Not to mention also, when you take it out on the highway, this thing is quick. You put the throttle down and it accelerates very, very quickly. I'm not saying it's fast because I've never gone faster than 105 kilometers per hour. Just go with it, Jack, on the highway. But when you put the throttle down, even now, traveling at 65 kilometers per hour, and put the throttle down, boom, look at that. I'm already at 100. It is quick, really quick. Not only is it quick, but the way it puts the power down, it's just absolutely effortless. Like, for instance, if you wanted to overtake, which we have, going uphill, it's sipping oolong tea on a nice cold day. Doesn't break a sweat. It's just fantastic. Now, although it is quick, I will not say that it leans towards more of an enthusiast's car because the suspension is a little bit on the soft side. And of course, the steering, like I mentioned, is a little bit on the dull side. Great for every day, great for the highway. But if you're looking for something a little bit more engaging, might I suggest something like a Mazda 3? BYD already has a winner in the form of the Sea Lion 6. And that thing is affordable, it's economical, it's comfortable, and we figured that that's already a winner, but we did not expect them to come up with something similar to those lines and yet even be more affordable. We just honestly didn't think it was going to happen, or happen so soon. They say lightning does not strike the same place twice. Ka-chow, ka-chow. But it did so for BYD in less than a year's time. The Seal 5 DMI is a value-packed sedan. It's quick, it's comfortable, it's ultra-efficient, and it starts at a price that other brands in our country are pissed off about, to the delight of us consumers.